3 families were left homeless after a fire tore through this apartment building at Lakemore apartment complex in Durham. While supporters of the bill view it as a necessity, critics say that it could pose a threat to national security. Heavy rains have caused major flooding issues and an absolute mess of traffic across New England today. UNC is in serious trouble after a 12-month probation punishment was issued just this afternoon. All of this comes after a 224-page Weinstein report on academic fraud. With only days left into the New Hampshire primary, GOP candidates took to the stage tonight in a last attempt to sway voters. The Republican candidates touched on issues such as national security and national debt, but perhaps the most important to New Hampshire voters is the opioid crisis. After over an hour of speaking to a crowd of at least 20,000 people, Bernie Sanders ended the night by charging local Boston supporters to keep in the fight for his political revolution. Here at the 36th News and Documentary Emmy Awards, several journalists were honored for their work this past year, but one man's work earned him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Tadlock. We begin with breaking news this evening. A statewide Amber Alert is out for a missing 10-month-old girl. A woman died when she slipped and fell off a dock on Lake Raleigh. CMPD says the woman fell on some type of metal bars despite getting a slew of customer complaints and warranty repair claims. The documents posted on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website today show another delay by GM in recalling vehicles. Hundreds of folks continue making their way to the coast for the Beaufort pirate invasion. Now to the cool, damp weather, putting a washout on your Saturday. Thanks, Liz. New tonight, take a look at this tree here in Charlotte. It came crashing through Scott Mercer's roof this morning. While GOP frontrunners Donald Trump and Carly Fiorina were campaigning in South Carolina, South Carolina Senator and presidential hopeful Lindsey Graham was on the trail in Nashua, New Hampshire. The Republican candidate met with supporters and even tried his hand at making ice cream.
Sure. I wish I could do this in the Senate. When somebody was talking. Ted Cruz.
Graham touched on many points during his visit to Nashua, but his stance on military issues was certainly a hit for VFWs attending his meet and greet.
I haven't decided who I'm going to support the most. I'll be honest with that. But he's a veteran first and foremost. He served on the Armed Services Committee, so that means a lot to me, being a career military guy.
One of Graham's key slogans is that he is a leader ready to be commander-in-chief from day one. His military background has shaped his stance on where he would take America's military if he were to become the next president.
I think I understand our military and the threats we face better than anybody, and I'm ready to rebuild our military as being gutted and use it wisely.
Graham has stated that he plans to expand the military and do whatever it takes to defeat ISIL. Graham is headed back to his home state this week to participate in town hall meetings. For Race to 45, I'm Emily Tadlock. For many in the U.S., receiving a driver's license is a rite of passage. But for Zoila Lopez, a single mom and immigrant from Guatemala, driving means a better future. That's why she is fighting for the Safe Driving Bill, which would grant driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants.
Sometimes, go out of the house in the middle of the night when it's a winter time, so cold, to get in medication for my kids when they get sick. When I need to get some food, always I have a lot of struggle times.
Lopez joined other immigrants and their supporters at the State House on Immigrants Day to advocate for the Safe Driving Bill. Members of the immigrant community met with their representatives to persuade them to pass the bill. 10 other states have already passed similar laws.
The Safe Driving Bill has great name because it will make us all much safe to be able to drive legally.
Immigrant advocate Frank Soltz says he sees the bill as an issue of public safety.
It would be a benefit not just for the undocumented immigrants, but it would be a huge benefit for everybody who drives in Massachusetts to have the roads as safe as possible.
For the thousands of undocumented immigrants who call East Boston home, a government-issued ID could also help them get better jobs and open a bank account. While supporters of the bill view it as a necessity, critics say that it could pose a threat to national security.
I'm not saying that every illegal immigrant could be a possible terrorist, but it would make it very easy for a terrorist to get paperwork to travel undetected around the country.
A similar bill did not pass last year, and Governor Baker says he will veto this year's bill if it passes. Solt says he hopes state legislators will hold a hearing to review the bill as soon as possible. For All Things Eastie, I'm Emily Tadlock. Hillary Clinton spoke yesterday at a community forum in Dorchester. The forum about the issue of substance use in Massachusetts included a panel of Boston city officials like Mayor Marty Walsh and the Attorney General Maura Healey.
There's no magic solution to recovery. There's no magic solution. There's no one program. There's many programs.
Clinton says she recognizes the need for federal aid for those suffering from drug addiction, a major issue in the New England area. She says there is a need for better access to rehabilitation programs.
You know, one of the best quotes I've heard is from a woman who said, "We are not bad people trying to become good. We are sick people trying to become well."
During the forum, community members stood and asked Clinton to be their champion for the cause. Even Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey took a few moments to praise the presidential hopeful's plan for tackling substance abuse.
With this program I've rolled out, I have said it would take $10 billion over 10 years. $7.5 billion would go to support states and cities that have good plans. And we would move, as the mayor and I were talking backstage, toward a results-based program.
Clinton says she has made this plan a large part of her presidential platform. Clinton has planned an appearance on Saturday Night Live tomorrow night on NBC. For Race to 45, I'm Emily Tadlock.